Still not having any other Krux Terminatus pauldron options after so long is kind of disappointing. Either through customization or by introducing new ones in the game shop, both routes would be very welcome. Yeah, I gotta be honest, these are some of my favorite pauldrons in the game. I just wish we had more variants. So for me personally, I do have Terminators on tabletop. And these pauldrons look very, very cool. It just doesn't have the trimming on the outline, but I bet you the pauldrons themselves are a little bit larger, likely because it's on a Terminator. Anyway, I definitely want to see more Krux pauldrons for sure, and I went through a fair amount of cosmetic posts, and I just wanted to reiterate some cosmetics that the devs may have forgotten about, or maybe we haven't seen before, but we have to take a good look at the roadmap again, because the roadmap is definitely going to show us what is coming down the line for cosmetics. So when we are looking for cosmetics that we need or cosmetics that we haven't talked about, we got to make sure what is already covered through the roadmap. And yeah, obviously we have the unredacted, or not unredacted, the redacted champion. We're not 100% sure what's going on with that. Hey, hopefully it's unredacted soon, but it's definitely a few patches away. I'm very excited about that. But yeah, let's take a quick look at the roadmap, and then I will show you guys, some ideas that either the community has or some ideas that the devs should get, which would be great if we seen them, do Deathwatch or something. All right, so here is the roadmap. So on patch 15, we have nothing here. We have taken a look at the roadmap before recently because of story DLC, and yeah, as you can tell with we do have the Redacted champion pack right here with Raptors, which is pretty interesting. Raven Guard champion, Blood Angel champion, these two are very sought after. These two are going to be huge hits. And then we have the Iron Hands chapter pack, which is not a champion pack. So this is kind of interesting. Here's the thing. Some people theorize that the Iron Hands is going to be Tech Marine's first champion, which I think would be cool, which is why they don't have Iron Hands champion pack here, I guess? And if that's not the case, that is a little disappointing. A little disappointing if we don't get a champion for Tech Marine in year 2. Definitely. The devs, if the devs can pull it off, I think they should try to, for sure, because champion packs I think are really cool, not to mention you can customize champion packs now, or you can take champion pieces and customize it with other packs, whatever. Regardless, Tech Marine definitely is going to need a champion at some point, and Iron Hands champion is something we need, so definitely wanted to highlight this a bit, because not having an Iron Hands champion here is either suspicious or disappointing. Then here's the Redacted champion pack. Obviously, players have a lot of different theories on this one. I'm going to highlight Deathwatch because I just feel like I have to. People have non-stop been talking about Deathwatch cosmetics. And yeah, this definitely wanted to reiterate that, because if we can get Deathwatch cosmetics, that would be great. And I really hope the devs haven't slept on that. And then there is another, I guess, community favorite chapter that could be a champion, but it is definitely one of those suggestions that feel pretty out there. But yeah, the only thing I really wanted to highlight other than the Iron Hands situation is patch 15 with no cosmetics. This is the most suspicious thing here, for sure. So at the very least, hopefully we can get some Krux pauldrons within some of these rewards, some of the stratagems rewards for sure. That would be a great moment for Krux pauldrons. But yeah, patch 15, when we get closer to patch 15, we'll keep an eye on that, because yeah, the devs definitely need to either expand on what is happening around patch 15 quarter 2 or expand what they have in store for quarter 3. Theory on the Redacted champion pack. All right, we covered the Redacted champion before and definitely highlighted how this is a perfect opportunity for Deathwatch, but obviously people just can't stop talking about Deathwatch, so I definitely wanted to include them within the potential forgotten cosmetics or forgotten chapters situation here, because yeah, we still have a lot of room for rewards, man. We gotta throw out some ideas when we have them, because hopefully the devs are already on track to do something with Deathwatch specifically. So with the reveal of the Blood Angel champion being the tactical, which reinforces the data mine of the assault being the Raven Guard, me personally, I wonder what could be in store for the sniper specifically this time. Oh, this is a suggestion for Deathwatch sniper. I like that. I like that a lot. Then I remember when they announced the very controversial Salamander Sniper. They stated it was mostly so they could have a Drake cape with the armor set. So what if this upcoming champion set has potentially the same basic reasoning of gotta have the cape? Dude, yeah, the Deathwatch cape is very cool. The entire Deathwatch, getup is very cool for sure. I like the hood also, and then of course, honestly, when it comes to pauldrons, the Deathwatch pauldron is still one of the coolest pauldrons in the game. Yeah, if we were to get Sniper Deathwatch, would you guys like that, or do you think players would be upset at Deathwatch Sniper? I think it's perfect though. In my opinion, I think it's perfect. However, obviously, I think the armor type is Gravis or Tacticus armor, which isn't Sniper's armor type. Sniper's armor type is Phobos, right? My personal theory is that the Redacted champion will be a Black Shield Deathwatch sniper that is based off of Titus's appearance in the introduction. Yeah, they could simply just customize it around Sniper for sure. See, when we talked about Deathwatch last time, it was more so about Deathwatch being the Redacted champion. This is actually breaking down how they feel like the devs would introduce a Deathwatch champion, and I actually think that they have some pretty good points here. Because, yeah, it's very true. The devs literally, apparently, picked Salamander because of the cape. A armor set that has been long requested since the launch? Yeah. Which definitely made me feel like I needed to talk about this again because, dude, people won't stop talking about Deathwatch armors, and we definitely need some Deathwatch armors, or some more Deathwatch armors. Basically a Primer's Phobos version of Titus's Deathwatch armor, so not literally the same exact armor, of course, but one heavily inspired by it. Anyways, it's just my dumb theory, and it'll probably end up being completely wrong. I mean, maybe. Dude, we don't even know if the Redacted champion is actually Deathwatch. Like, we could all be wrong about Deathwatch Redacted champion, for sure. But it's definitely leaning more towards something like Deathwatch, in my opinion. But, now, should Sniper be the Deathwatch champion? We're already getting tactical, we're already getting assault. Heavy is definitely going to need a champion soon. Tech Marine, again, I think should get a champion skin in year 2. And yeah, I guess Vanguard will be the other champion we have in store for this year, right? Because yeah, tactical, assault, and bulwark all got champion skins already in year 2, which is crazy. Well, they haven't came out yet, so maybe that's why it feels like it's been too fast. But anyway, yeah, Deathwatch Redacted champion on Sniper specifically because of the cloak. I like that take for sure. Deathwatch cosmetics. What's the possibility that we get a Deathwatch cosmetic pack like the new chest piece from the Primer's Deathwatch, and some of the helmets that they are known to use, also some of the minor accessories that are exclusive to them. Very interesting. So yeah, they have a couple pictures here showing off the Deathwatch stuff I think they want to see in game. Now we do have this arm. We do have literally 2 pieces of Deathwatch cosmetics. We have the pauldron and the arm. I do like this chest piece. I think this helmet is pretty cool as well. I honestly, I like this chest piece the most. That chest piece looks pretty sick. Hey, Mohawk. Dude, this is also very cool. This helmet, very cool. Even though there's not a lot of pixels, you can tell that it's a cool helmet. And yeah, I guess this is a closer look at the helmet from before, maybe. But yeah, regardless, you can just tell it's Deathwatch. That is a cat. And yeah, this is, wow, look at the glue right there. This is an interesting helmet, like the 2 antennae. Very, very interesting. The 2 antennas. Regardless, yeah, when it comes to Deathwatch, you can easily find people talking about Deathwatch cosmetics pretty much every day. So I like this post because it shows some tabletop cosmetics for Deathwatch, and it perhaps gives us a look at what a Deathwatch member would look like without the cape. If they ever got added, they definitely have to be tactical, right? So yes, this is the Legion of the Damned, and we do have the torch now. So honestly, we are like 1% closer to actually getting Legion of the Damned. I am not too sure if we're ever going to see this. To be honest. Dude, to be completely honest though, if we do run around with the Salamander torch and it doesn't have any bugs and it continues to be like litten and everything, it continues to have the firelight. I don't know. Yeah, dude, honestly, yeah, if we can run around with the Salamander torch and have no issues, we are definitely at least a step forward in possibly seeing Legion of the Damned. Like, I'm not concerned with any of the skulls or the skull chest piece or the helmet or anything like that. Yeah, the skeleton chest piece. I'm not concerned about any of that, really, to be completely honest. Litten. I'm really only concerned about the fire effects on the armor and how possibly, you know, visually polluting it could be, maybe. But regardless, dude, if the devs could pull this off, they would have to pull it off correctly. You know what I mean? I don't want to see fires painted on. I want to see at least a little bit of real flames along the trimming here. That would be very cool, for sure. Now, how possible is this? It's not very possible, I think, personally. I don't think this would be the Redacted champion. I really don't. But it would be cool if they were to do this. Doing this around Halloween would be the way to go, in my personal opinion. So if I was to guess about Legion of the Damned being implemented into the game, we would have to see a very good year 2. Like, they would have to sell a lot of cosmetics in year 2, and I guess a lot of games or something. Whatever they need for year 3 is what is necessary for Legion of the Damned, because yeah, then in year 3 they could add in a tactical champion, Legion of the Damned, around Halloween. That would be cool. That would be sick. Not too sure if that's possible. Not too sure if the devs have this on their radar, but I have seen this one mentioned quite a few times, so I figured I'd add this in just because we're adding in some cosmetics that people have talked about in the past that the devs may have or may not have forgotten about. And yeah, Legion of the Damned definitely fits that. It is definitely a forgotten chapter. I'm convinced it will be a Blood Raven DLC to match the release of Dawn of War 4, who, from what I've heard, should release around September next year. Is that true? That is very interesting. Now, some people have speculated a collaboration with Space Marine 2 and Dawn of War 4. I think that is actually a great idea from a marketing standpoint, for sure. I want to play Dawn of War 4, but I want to play the remaster first, just so I know what I'm doing. But yeah, I will get to that. I will get to that eventually. But yeah, right now, Blood Raven DLC or Blood Raven cosmetics is definitely one of the higher requested chapters for cosmetics. I feel like, unfortunately for Blood Ravens, there is a lot of memes surrounding them. Well, there's the meme. Like, when it comes to chapter memes, it's really hard to find a meme that is funnier than Blood Raven stealing stuff, to be honest. However, I feel like that meme puts that chapter in a position where it's like, okay, we don't really take you seriously, though, which is unfortunate, because I feel like Blood Ravens are very popular, and I think Blood Ravens would have had more requests for cosmetics, maybe if all the Blood Ravens players weren't just around stealing stuff and were actually joining the conversation. However, I'm kidding, obviously. However, yes, we have seen a lot of people suggest Blood Ravens, and honestly, this is actually a pretty huge revelation in a sense that in September, if the devs are still, you know, interested in doing collaborations, that does line up a year 3. Like, if they come out with cosmetics next September, it's kind of interesting to see if the devs have anything in store for year 3, because this definitely lines up with that, for sure. But yeah, Blood Raven's cosmetics, definitely one of the chapters that may have been forgotten about. And then Dawn of War cosmetics would be cool. September, that lines up correctly for year 3. We will see. But yeah, this is definitely something that I'm going to keep in mind now, because when it comes to year 3 copium, this is definitely something that sets it up pretty cleanly. I tend to believe it's a Deathwatch champion rather than the Blood Raven theory, since it's unlikely we're going to have a year 3 season pass. It would make full circle to have a Deathwatch just like the game campaign starts. Oh, so like at the end we get the Deathwatch cosmetics? Dude, I'm not too sure how patient people are going to be for Deathwatch cosmetics. I have to be honest. Now, the Redacted champion is a champion. It's not a chapter pack, but since we've seen the recent champion cosmetics update, since now we can put champion pieces on different armor sets and everything, I think this is honestly a pretty interesting opportunity for Deathwatch, for the Redacted champion to be Deathwatch. But this is true, essentially. The Redacted champion is at the end of the roadmap we have now. Now, as far as year 3 season pass is concerned, yeah, outside of how it lines up with Dawn of War 4, not too sure what else I can suggest to make me believe we're getting a year 3, but there's also there's also more of Year 2 roadmap we still need to see. So asking for Year 3 or speculating on Year 3, I definitely think we're just, getting a little bit ahead of ourselves for sure. Or I am, I guess. But regardless, we still need to see more from Year 2. So I really am not in the boat where the devs haven't talked about it. That means it's not going to happen. There's definitely some situations that lead us to believe that there could be a Year 3. Well, mainly two. One is the time where the devs themselves kind of joked about, oh, what about a second anniversary, which is Year 3 technically. And then the second one is obviously Dawn of War coming out in September, and then the potential for a Dawn of War collaboration with Space Marine 2. I don't know if the devs would be able to collab if it was next September. And if they weren't ready for a Year 3. If they're not ready for a Year 3 at all, we should not expect a Dawn of War 4 collaboration. So yeah, I get it. I'm putting a lot of my eggs in the basket of, hey, if there's a Dawn of War 4 collaboration, we're probably getting a Year 3. And I think that's kind of fair. Maybe it's not. Maybe we're speculating a little bit too far ahead about Year 3. But when it comes to these cosmetics that we reviewed today, there's definitely potential to see these, implemented in the game at Year 2 besides the Legion of the Damned. The Legion of the Damned is like the ultimate Year 3 cosmetic, in my opinion. Because we're definitely getting the cosmetics we've asked for since launch. But yeah, besides the cosmetics we talked about in this video. I definitely just want to see more Krux pauldrons. I want to see Deathwatch cosmetics for sure. Blood Ravens definitely deserve something. I think the Blood Raven fans, unironically, have been very patient. So that's great. So that's great to see. But yeah, they definitely need something, right? But yeah, let me know in the comments if we forgot anything here. Let me know in the comments if there's any, cosmetic pack that you think the devs may have forgotten about or the community may have forgotten about. But yeah, for me, I think everyone is seriously in the mood for Deathwatch cosmetics at some point. But for now, we're just gonna have to feel okay with the Blood Angels Tactical and the Raven Guard Assault. We're just gonna have to feel fine with those for now. I can't wait for that Raven Guard, by the way. Dude, I don't know what I'm going to do when that drops. We seriously might be playing the Assault class over Tech Marine. I'm kidding. I'm likely, in case you guys are curious, I'm definitely thinking about streaming when Tech Marine comes out so I can level him up and stuff, because I know, making videos on him, it's gonna be a grind. I really would either have to grind, get him up full level when he comes out, and then worry about prestige perks later. But yeah, I know we definitely need to see Tech Marine leveled up. So yeah, regardless, if I'm only using Raven Guard Assault, I'm definitely going to be leveling up the Tech Marine, or I'm just going to burst level him with you guys. We will figure this out. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the patches that are on their way. I'm excited about patch 11 as well. But I can't lie, patch 12 looks so good, man, because we're getting a new class. We're definitely going to get a new operation as well. There's a lot in patch 12. Patch 11 definitely feels really good as well, because we're getting good heroics. But yeah, in patch 12, we're not 100% sure what we're getting for patch 12 outside of Tech Marine and a new mission, and that's already going to be, yeah, some good content. So yeah, I'm excited for it regardless. I may be a little bit more excited for Raven Guard than the Blood Angels, but yeah, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, let me know in the comments how you guys feel about this, and thanks for watching.